This is Song Waffles. We waffle on for just as long as it takes to drink 2 beers. Song Waffles with City over Sand.
G'day and welcome to episode 6 of Song Waffles with City over Sand. Episode 6, Dan. It's been a couple of weeks between drinks, hasn't it?
We've had a little bit of a breather to recollect our thoughts and come back. And, episode 6. We're very lucky to be here at episode 6, I think. But this is an important one for a number of reasons. There's been a little bit going on since our last episode.
It sure has.
You might notice that there's only 2 of us sitting at the desk today. We're down a couple of members, aren't we, Brad?
Yeah, well, it is a public holiday today, so it's Good Friday today. So we thought that we do the hard yards and get the job done. We'll give the other guys the day off. We're getting casual rates on a public holiday. So
shout out to JK and to Dubs as well. Happy Good Friday, lads. We'll get the job done and we'll drink the beers on your behalf.
Yeah. So as we said, it's been a few weeks between drinks, and segue to drop of the week.
It's time for the drop of the week.
So what have we got this week, Dan?
Well, it is lucky that there is only 2 of us, and being a public holiday, we have the classic craft 4-pack. And
This is when it's good for us.
2 of us, 2 beers each. So luckily, there's only 2 of us here. Black hops. BH is representing there. We are showcasing the East Coast Haze today in episode 6 from Black Hops. We've had this once before. We got a little bit of a taster when Black Hops sent through a package.
Might even show a clip of us trying that little fella, but
yeah, so it's a delicious beer, and we've been looking at these for a little while we've been setting up, so we're not going to muck around.
Absolutely. So what have you been up to in the last few weeks since in between podcasts, DC?
Well, there's been a bit going on, Brad. You might recall that since the last episode, we actually released the first song from
That's correct.
From our EP. So Echo was released on the 18th of February, and on all streaming platforms and on our Bandcamp site.
So if you haven't had a listen yet, go and have a listen. We'll put the links in the show notes.
So thank you to everybody as well who tuned in and has listened and streamed it and downloaded it and sent us some little messages. It's awesome. Really glad that you like the song. And please, keep coming at us with your feedback and with your comments, because we really appreciate that. That's been happening. Echo's been released, so we're really proud of that song. Community radio also jumped on board. There's a few stations that have been playing it around Australia, so thank you to Community Radio, to AMRAP for supporting independent bands like ours in Australia. Blank GC, they're our local street press. They were very, very kind to us on the release of Echo, and gave us a great little review. So again, thanks to Blank GC for that support. What else has been happening? COVID's been happening.
It surely has.
So the spicy cough reared its ugly head.
Yeah, just when you think you're going to get away with it and it's getting to the tail end, that's when it gets you.
Yeah, so we've been a little bit knocked around in the last sort of month or so, but coming good now, like many of you out there. So stay safe, everybody. The other thing that's happened to me in the last week, Brad. This is just to go off. I've become addicted to Wordle.
Have you?
Have you done that?
I have. Yet? I'm like 70 or 80 in.
Whew.
How into it are you?
Oh, I'm a week in.
Oh, yeah.
So a mate of mine got me onto it last week. So if you haven't got onto Wordle and you've got plenty of time to waste,
let's have a look at mine. I'm still at 100% too.
100%.
Yeah, I keep it open. Did you see that last one? The last one I got it in for. It was, for those playing a couple of days ago, probably now, it was mince. But the answer that I had before that was minge, and it wasn't minge. Turns out it wasn't. But yeah, so
Does it
where's my
recognise
score?
minge as a word?
It did.
It is. Okay.
But yeah, I played 71, 100%.
Bradley Hosking, and you got one straight out of the gate.
Yeah, one. That was a bit of a. Haven't got one with 2 yet. The other one, which is really good, is one called Hurdle. Have you played Hurdle?
No.
Okay, so Hurdle is like it. I think I've played it today already. But it plays you like a 1 second snip of a track and then a 2 second snip and then etc. So it's like Wordle, but it's for musicians. So it's a whole bunch of different songs. But the stats on this are pretty good.
It's
I've
like
got
that,
11 songs in 1 second. It's not bad.
Wow.
There's only one song that I didn't know so far out of my 25 that I've played, but that's another one. Hurdle is another one.
That's great. What's the dude out of, is it the White Stripes?
Jack White?
Jack White. So I saw a clip of him the other day where they gave him 1 second.
Oh, Beatles songs.
Beatles songs.
Yeah.
And he ripped through them all.
How good is he?
So good. Anyway, we digress. Wordle, Hurdle. If you haven't
There's one called Worldle as well. It gives you a picture of the world, and you've got to figure out what the country is. Yeah, that's pretty good.
If you've got heaps of time on your hands, we can highly recommend those little pursuits. So get onto it. We were also a semi-finalist in the international songwriting competition for a track off the EP, and it's called "I Was Wrong." So
Yet to be released, but we did play it in episode 2 of the podcast. So maybe jump back and have a look at that on our YouTube channel, and you can see us playing that one live.
yeah, get onto it. So proud of that. So and that will sit on the EP when it comes out in the middle of the year.
Amazing.
So that's about what's been going on, and we're preparing to release the second track off the EP in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. So that actually segues nicely into this week's song Waffle. Is actually about the song that we're bringing out very shortly, and that's a track called Little Town. So unfortunately, with this one, this is probably the first time in City Over Sand history that we've had a guest come in, right? So a guest vocalist.
Yeah.
Oh, not a guest. We've had guests before, guest soloists and things like that, but actual guest vocalist, Amy John Roberts, did a fantastic job on this track for us. Came in and smashed it out in just a couple of takes. And
So good. It's Little Town is a really subtle song, and it's a song that we kind of recorded. Like you said, there was no click, and it was just
started as a demo.
It
Day.
was very casual and just a bit of an idea. And I remember walking away from it going, we might leave that for another day. But I think, for whatever reason it was, we toiled away at it and, just really left it the way it should have been. A less is more approach to the production and the playing. And, it's a beautiful little song. It's an acoustic track. It's got no drums.
No.
Maybe that's why JK hasn't shown up today, I think.
Yeah. Fair duck. But yeah, I remember the first day you came in for this track, you had like 6 or 7 songs and you just wanted to lay demos down to hear what they were outside of your little studio you write in at home.
Yep.
And then we just played it through, sang over one guide vocal, and then you just took it home and listened to it a million times. And it was one of those times it's like, oh yeah, that's where it is.
It becomes when you remove it from the environment where you create it, and you're very comfortable in that environment, which is my home. So naturally I'm comfortable there, and I'm playing it over and over. And when you bring it into it's not a foreign environment, but a new environment, and it's very stark in the studio, like a legitimate studio like this one at Blind Boy. It can be a daunting process, and you find yourself really exposed in your playing, and that's why I think I left it. I was like, I'm not quite feeling it in this studio space.
Yeah.
But
then we came back, we like just opened the session up again months later. I was like, actually, there's something about this. And then I think we may have even kept that initial guitar, which was no click. And then we just removed the vocal, and then we just started building and adding to it. And it was starting to fit around some of the other songs that we were releasing on the EP. Yeah. And it just had some little magic about it. So we just built on top of that rather than trying to recreate it again.
It's kind of very subtle acoustic. It's whimsical almost in its delivery, I guess, and that's where we kind of started a discussion around maybe this song and the way the lyrics roll out. It would lend itself to perhaps having a female vocal included on the track, and so we just sort of decided to discuss that idea, and Brad got Amy on the hook.
Yeah, and she was more than happy to come in, and I think even when she came in, she had some ideas and had some melody ideas and things like that, and it came out really quick. I think where there was like 3, probably had it in like 2 takes, but I made her do a couple more just because you can't get it right in 2.
And you knew straight away, because I sort of lent on you a little bit. I said, who do you know who would be suitable vocally to, contribute and be happy to sit on the track? And you said, I've got someone.
Yeah.
And it was Amy. Yeah.
But it's again, even for you, Dan, as the songwriter too, and the chief singer in the band forever on every recording that you've ever done. Yeah. That's a hard thing to do, is to give over your song like that in that kind of artistry, and I think it paid off. I think it works.
Do you know what? I don't think it was hard for me. I was quite happy to see that process happen, and when I heard the mix, I was like, awesome. And I'd like to do a lot more of that in the future, to hear awesome. some other talent and some other vocal delivery on the mixes.
Yeah, great.
But Amy did a phenomenal job. We hope when you hear the track that you'll give her some credit as well, because she really lifts the song to where I'd hoped it would end up.
Yeah, and just like with the demo kind of guitars that stayed, and just very quick vocal sessions. I think even your vocals, we only did two or 3 takes. Then just keeping it very live, very like how it would be expected to be after a very short amount of listens, and then just adding some simple shakers and just simple walked inside the house where my piano is with all the doors wide open and record and press record. And then at the end, there's a few little Easter eggs that actually just naturally happened. There was some cockatoos flying past as we finished the track, and so you can listen out for some cockatoo squawks at the end there, which we left in.
Yeah, it was a very natural, organic process to remove the song from the studio. Ended up in Brad's living room in his house, on his beautiful piano one afternoon, to put down what is beautiful lilting piano lines. And I didn't realise that we had a cockatoo in the mix until we did the vocal, and it came screeching through my headphones, and I shit myself in this. I remember being in the studio and looking around for it. But anyway, we've left it. We've left the cockatoo in the mix. So at the very, very end of Little Town, if you keep listening very carefully, you will hear that cockatoo firing away.
So it's featuring Amy, John Roberts, and cockatoo. Awesome. So it's we can't wait for you to hear it. So when does it go on pre-sale?
So today's Good Friday. Next Friday is the 22nd of April. That will be the pre-sale date. So let's call that,
or pre-save date.
Pre-save
as well. So you can jump on and pre-save it, so it comes into your Spotify account or your Apple Music account straight away. But it is pre-sale as well, I think, if it's on iTunes, if you still buy things off iTunes.
That's a really great help to us if you do find yourself online streaming your music, to jump on and follow us on those platforms. It helps us out a great deal. So next Friday, it's the 22nd of April, is the pre-sale or the pre-save date.
Yeah.
So let's call that Gooder Friday. It's Good Friday today. Next Friday is Gooder Friday. And then the following week is the 29th of April, which is the release date.
Yeah.
So let's call that Goodest Friday. 29th of April, Little Town will be available on all the platforms. It will be available on our Bandcamp site as well. So
it'll be on all of our socials too. So for the pre-save link, just visit our socials, Facebook and Instagram, and
so we'd really love you to connect and jump on and support us along the way.
Amazing, great. All right, what do we got next? Oh, and then next segment. What have you been listening to?
Well,
in the past little bit?
I've got 3 songs on my list. Are we going to add these to our song waffles?
Oh, we certainly
don't have
can.
to do it now, but we will add these to our Spotify.
Yeah, good idea.
Our Spotify list. So if you want to jump on and have a listen, there's some of our favourite tracks sitting on that. The first one I'm going to jump into is an American singer-songwriter by the name of Alan Stone, a phenomenal talent. He's got a new track out, I think just this week. It's called A Bit of Both. If you haven't discovered Alan Stone, jump on there. Singer-songwriter, phenomenal vocalist. He kind of reminds me, he's got a little bit of Stevie Wonder in his voice for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great songwriter and a great vocalist, and he's got a new song, so look him up. The other one that I actually listened to this in my car today for the first time in a long time, and it's a band called the Mountain Goats, who I love, and they had a record that they put out, I think it was about 2004 or 2005, and it's called The Sunset Tree, the album, and for me it's a classic album, and very clever songwriting, very clever lyrics, and it's a song that I actually remember back in the day discovering on Rage. Remember Rage? Like late at night, I saw the film clip, and the film clip is awesome if you get to look that up on YouTube, for the Mountain Goats track, which is called This Year. So that's what I've been playing. I smashed the whole album in the car today. So that's a bit of a flashback. Yeah. And the other one, we're going to give a shout out, of course, to Amy John Roberts, who features on Little Town. Look her up, and jump into some of her fantastic music that's also available online. And I'm picking a track of hers called 2020, which is the first song I heard of hers about a couple of years ago, I think 2 years ago. Again, it's a beautiful song. She's a beautiful songwriter and an awesome vocal talent. So look up Amy John Roberts.
Yeah, definitely give it a spin. All right, I'm adding this week. I've only just become aware of this record. Certainly aware of the artist, but one of my students sent me this and said, you got to have a listen to this. It reminds me a lot of City Over Sand, interestingly. So the record is Modern Johnny Sings, Songs in the Age of Vibe by Theo Katzman of Wolfpack fame. The first track off the record is called You Could Be President. Just an amazing sounding record. Just so fun, great vocalist, unbelievable musician, distortion on everything. Just it sounds huge for what it is, but just there's not a bad song on this record. So this is just a great record. But my pick is actually the first song that I heard was called You Could Be President. Really great track. Second one I'm choosing is a song that actually just came out during the week by one of my favourite artists of the last few years, Maggie Rogers. She's really starting to grow into songwriting and finding her sound and her feet, and just an amazing artist. This has like a lot of vocal sampling of her own voice and stuff in there. It's just really, really great song.
What genre does she fit into, you think?
I was kind of starting to feel that kind of matters less or whatever, but there's certain pop sensibility, kind of indie pop is probably the safe thing to call it. But yeah, there's touches of soul even in it now, but she kind of comes from a folk background.
Yeah.
But yeah, indie pop is probably the safe way to call it. But yeah, a track called That's Where I Am. Great little film clip with it too, so give it a spin. Great record. Alrighty, fantastic. All right, so on to the next segment. This one's in JK's absence, but we're on to JK's Multi of the Week.
JK's Multi of the Week.
I suppose this is BH's Multi of the Week, this one.
Do we still run the jingle?
Of course. So wanted to look at something that is a little bit in the future, so you guys can have a listen and still get in with it. But big thing that's happening at the moment is in the cricket world is the IPL. So the IPL is due to finish late May, but I'm going to go with the overall winner, the Gujarat Tigers, one of the kind of newer teams, newer franchises into the league, but currently they're paying $550 to win the whole tournament, and they're sitting very high on the ladder. They're probably on top at the moment, but they're they're kicking some goals. They got a great team, quite a few Aussies in the team as well, some great English players as well. Team to watch, I reckon, the Gujarat Tigers.
550.
550.
Where are they sitting?
They're in the top 2 at the moment, I think. Probably might even be on the top. Kolkata is the other team that have a team full of superstars, but I reckon Gujarat are looking good. So 550.
It's not bad. 550.
Not bad. Put a pineapple on that. Yeah, that's just $250 odd bucks, $260. So yeah.
Can I ask how your NRL tipping's going, BH?
NRL tipping is not bad. In one of my tipping comps, I was the only team to tip the Cowboys last night.
Of course you were.
Only person to tip the Cowboys, so they got up. So that was good. So I haven't been able to tip the Cowboys very well in the last 3 weeks. I've lost that game every week. So this a nice little comeback in the second half last night against the Raiders. So yeah, that's that, I reckon.
Nice work. I think that just about wraps up our little snack-sized podcast.
I'm only getting through one beer, so
I'm nearly there.
I suppose it's in the time to drink 2 beers collectively.
True, I'll have to drink this one. Thanks for joining us. We will have JK and Stevie Dubs back with us for the next episode. Please, jump on in the next couple of weeks and support us as we release Little Town pre-sale next Friday, the 22nd of April, and it will be released everywhere on the 29th of April. We really hope you dig it, and let us know what you think.
Yep, and we'll introduce you to Amy in a coming podcast, and we'll actually play Little Town, so keep an ear out for that one too.
Till then, take care, everybody.
See you later.
And this is some waffles. We waffle on for just as long as it takes to drink 2 beers. Some waffles with City over Sand.